What if the hardest moments in your life weren't meant to break you, but to wake you up? In today's conversation, we're talking about finding gratitude during life's toughest seasons, overcoming burnout, why asking for help is a sign of strength, and how small daily habits can completely change the direction of your life. Helping us unpack all of this is coach, speaker, author, and podcast host Pamela Cass. After surviving an abusive marriage, battling cancer, and rebuilding her life from the ground up, Pamela now helps others find resilience, purpose, and joy one step at a time. If you ever felt overwhelmed, stuck, or wondered how to move forward after a difficult season, this conversation is for you. Let's get into it. Hello, Pamela, and thank you for joining the Influence Exchange today. How are you?
Good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. I'm excited to have this conversation with you today and bring joy to people's lives.
Yeah, me too.
So, Pamela, before we dive in, I usually like to start off and asking, who is Pamela Cass?
Who is Pamela Cass? It's funny. If you had asked me that question years ago, I would have said, I'm a mom, I'm a realtor, I'm a speaker, I'm a coach, I'm an author, a podcaster. But those are the things I do. I would say, who am I? Oh gosh, I'm a person who is living every day to the absolute fullest. And
Sure.
so that's who I am today.
I love it. Pamela, let's not sugarcoat it, okay? You are a certified professional coach, instructor,
Yeah.
speaker, leadership trainer, co-host of your own podcast, Reunite Resilience,
Mhm.
author of your book, The Quiet Gift,
Mhm.
realtor, entrepreneur, cancer survivor. What you don't do.
It's funny. I don't think about all the things that I do because I just kind of do the things and they all kind of are
Sure.
things that I'm passionate about. So doesn't feel like work. Some days it does, but some days it doesn't. What don't I do? Gosh, I don't travel enough.
Okay.
That's what I
Okay.
don't do.
Yeah.
Um, but
Okay.
you know what? When you get a call, saying that you have cancer, it's
Sure.
kind of one of those things that it's a huge wake up call that you realize that, tomorrow's not a guarantee and we have no idea how long we're going to have and be on this planet. And so since that diagnosis, I've been on this quest to impact and touch as many people as possible. And so that's why I'm doing so many things. It's because there's a reason why I was given this wake up call. And so I don't want to take it for granted.
Sure. So let's speak about your cancer and your journey from recovery.
Yeah.
When did it start and walk us through that process?
Well, it was kind of one of those things where I went through a divorce. It was like a
Sure.
2-year divorce. And I was in an abusive marriage for 20 years. And my divorce was final December of 17. And January of 18, I was diagnosed with cancer. And so when I get that call, I'm like, are you serious? Like, I, my divorce has been final 1 month. I get to
Sure.
start this like new single life and
Right?
giving me cancer.
Oh my.
Um, a
Yeah.
very good friend told me that your marriage prepared you for this. And so if anyone can handle it, you can handle it. And so, but I was a single mom and I'm like,
Sure.
how am I going to go through this and, keep a job and have the income and the insurance and be able to take care of my family and my clients all at the same time?
Sure.
And I became a very independent person where I never asked for help because I couldn't in my marriage. And so the thought of having to lean on other people and ask people for help while I was going through the cancer, um, was very hard for me to do because then it would mean that people would think I wasn't the strong person that I had, made people believe that I was. But leaning into the support that I had with my friends and my family and leaning into gratitude, that was probably the thing that got me through it more than anything else. And it's interesting because you don't think gratitude is something that can help you with a health diagnosis. But I started doing this gratitude practice when I was going through my divorce. I had to move in with my parents while I was in the divorce, and it was the first time I'd lived with them since I moved away to
Sure.
college.
Yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, I gave up all my
Right.
independence, and now I'm living
Mhm.
with my mom and dad again. And so I came up with this rule that every single morning I would go on a gratitude walk. And then it became a run, and I had to come up with 3 new gratitudes every single day, no matter what.
I
And I
love
was
that.
thinking to myself, what do I have to be grateful for? I'm going through
Sure.
divorce, I'm living with my parents, but I forced myself to do it. And over a period of time, what happened is I started noticing things that I had stopped noticing because I was busy wallowing in all of the relationship, my marriage, and everything that was happening. And I was starting to see things almost like it was for the first time, like seeing the clouds and hearing the birds chirp, and because I was
Mhm.
forcing myself to notice those things. And so when it got me through my divorce, I was able to actually, I was on a walk and I just spontaneously, like, I'm grateful for my ex-husband. And I'm like,
Yeah.
why would I say that? And I was like,
I'm
well, you said it because you truly are. You have your kids and you are who you
Mhm.
be because of this marriage. Well, I carried that into the cancer diagnosis. So although I was angry at first, I leaned into there's a message here and I'm grateful for the wake up call.
Sure.
And it was funny because I'd have to go to 2 or 3 doctor's appointments a week. And every single doctor was like, you are recovering faster than anybody we've ever seen. What are you doing? And I was
Yeah.
like, I'm doing gratitude every single day. And so I think that we don't really realize how impactful gratitude can actually be, because when you are grateful, you can't be afraid, you can't be angry. And it really helps the chemistry of your body to heal itself. And so that's really my gratitudes are what got me through the cancer.
I love that. Pamela, someone that may be watching or listening to today's episode may be going through some kind of cancer, whatever it is. What is your advice to that one person, 10 person, or 100th person watching that are going through that challenge right now in their lives?
Yeah. So it's hard to tell somebody to be
Mm.
grateful when they
Sure.
have cancer, and everybody's cancer is different. But if you can find something to be grateful for every single day, even if it's something little, like you were able to wake up this morning, or be grateful for the family that's around you, or a pet, or a cup of coffee that tastes so good, or feeling good for a moment, any of those little things. And then also be okay asking for help. You don't have to do this alone. There are so many people out there who have gone through it, and I have people reach out to me all the time that have gone through or are going through cancer. And it helps to have somebody that's gone through it to help you through it, because
Yeah.
we don't have to do anything alone. And sometimes, I think, especially with women, I think sometimes we have to put on the armor and act tough. But that's BS. We don't have to.
Yeah.
And if you can build a community for yourself, that's why we did the podcast.
Sure.
Reignite Resilience is all about building a community for people that are going through hard things so that they don't have to feel like they're alone. So gratitudes, and find those people that can walk alongside you or support you through this
Yeah.
process.
Absolutely. A great support system, it
Yeah.
works during these hard times.
Yeah.
It's too critical. I always say this, Pamela, and I'm going to continue repeating it. If your message, my message, touches one person, we did our job.
Yeah.
And this is another reason why I started podcasting,
Mhm.
for that reason, to touch other people. No one is perfect, but stories like yourself could go so far. And for anyone that's listening or watching, it's critical to talk to others. Don't keep it in. You're gonna get burnt inside, and just having that good support system, it's
Yeah.
critical. So
Well,
thank you for sharing that.
yeah, absolutely. And, when you hold it inside, it builds stress. And when
Yeah.
you are stressed, your cortisol levels rise. And when you have high cortisol levels, your body does not put any energy into your immune system. And so I believe the cancer for me came from being in an abusive marriage for 20 years. And the stress of that,
Sure.
I think, led to my body not taking care of itself. So if you're dealing with any sort of the stress because you're not sharing what you're going through and getting that support, then it's just going to have a negative effect on you.
Yeah. Yeah. Something else doing my research about you that you've been through in your life, dyslexia. You're an advocate, and you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. Yeah, that I was diagnosed with dyslexia, oh my gosh, when I was 7, and
Sure.
so that was in the '70s, and they had known about dyslexia since, like, the '50s, but there wasn't a lot of research in how to teach kids or help kids that have dyslexia, and I lived in a very rural town outside of Boston. We had no malls, no fast food restaurants. We had town hall meetings. And so, what it meant for me was when I was put back into the classroom with this diagnosis, every time we did any reading or spelling or anything in the classroom, they would just take me out of class. And
Sure.
then I would go hang out with the teaching assistant. And usually, what I remember, and I'm sure that's not what I did every time, we would go
Yeah.
make cookies or something or
Sure.
do artwork.
Yeah.
The problem with that is when you're 7, that's when you're starting to build your peer group, your
Right.
friend.
Right.
And
Hmm.
so now I'm being pulled out and then I'm being put back in the class and the kids are looking at me like, "Well, why did she not have to do what we had to do? Like, why did she get a leave?" And so then that made me wanna be invisible. I didn't want anybody to notice me coming back into the classroom. And so it made me an incredibly shy child. And over the years, I learned how to just kind of be invisible. And unfortunately, in doing that, when I finally started seeing some success because I learned how to learn differently because when you have dyslexia, you do things differently. It doesn't
Sure.
mean you're not as actually people with dyslexia have very high IQs. They just learn differently.
Hmm.
And so I learned how to think of my challenges, what people would call challenges. To me, they were gifts because I was more creative. I was able to actually problem solve better than most people because I could think of solutions outside of the normal box, which was kind of fun. Um, but the problem is once I started getting a little bit of success, then I didn't want anybody to know that I was different. And I got into this proving loop, which meant that I was going to outwork anybody in any position I was in because then they would think I belonged there. Nobody would know that I had a learning disability.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, in doing that, it showed up in burnout as I got into the corporate world. And I was a vice president of a big brokerage, and I was working probably 70 hours a week. And I was not, I hadn't, it was September. I hadn't taken a day off
Sure.
since September, since the beginning of the year. And actually, I didn't even think I had taken a day off the year before. And I was at a dentist appointment, and they do take your blood pressure in
Sure.
Colorado
Yeah.
at a dentist
Yeah.
appointment. And, she does the blood pressure, it was 158/104, which is
Yeah.
like stage 2
Yeah. Yeah.
hypertension, and that's like heart attack and stroke zone, and I was a cancer survivor, and so this was years after my cancer,
Yeah.
and so it was this wake-up call again, a wake-up call that
Sure.
you have survived cancer, and now you're letting this belief that you have to prove yourself to everybody drive you into an early grave, and so it showed up for me that I just felt like I was never good enough because of this disability, which started at a very young age. And so it led to me feeling I had to prove myself to be worthy. And this is what I've had to unravel. And so in that moment that I found out that high blood pressure, I literally walked away from a six-figure job and I had no idea how I was going to support myself.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to survive cancer and then die from a
Yeah.
fact that was my fault because I was
Right.
in this really dangerous loop, and I think
Right.
a lot of people get into that loop where we just feel like and in America, and you know this, in America, we are
Yeah.
very much rewarded for hustle,
Hmm.
how hard you work. You're not
Right.
rewarded for taking time off and for
Yeah.
taking care of yourself, and so that's what we do. We just, I gotta prove it. I gotta keep working. And I think that's why we have so much burnout in this country. And
Yeah.
it's dangerous.
Yeah.
So,
It's important. You said a lot of critical things. And burnout, it's so important because people don't see it or think it.
yeah.
But when they're home or deep inside, they may feel stuck.
Yeah.
They may feel lost. But in the outside, they want to prove everyone, I won't say wrong, but they want to prove that they could do the job.
Yeah.
What made you make that shift and said, enough is enough in this corporate world?
I was waking up and I no longer loved what I was doing. And I just felt stressed out all the time. I wasn't sleeping, wasn't eating healthy. I wasn't taking care. I wasn't working out. I wasn't taking care of
Yeah.
myself. And I knew that I needed to change. And so I knew I was going to quit. But I knew that if I didn't change that belief that I had,
Sure.
all that was going to happen was I was going to just step into another thing and do the exact same thing. And so it was very much me rewriting these beliefs that I had that I needed to keep doing to be successful. And I realized that I'm like, no. Now, at the beginning, you said I do this, 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 and this.
Right.
And people are probably like, I think you're still doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, I have so much time because I'm so laser focused on what I'm doing and everything is very much tied together that I work out every single day. It's the very first thing that's on
Sure.
my schedule. I have a dog intentionally because like before our podcast, I
Mhm.
took him for a walk and I don't
Yeah.
have my phone with me. I'm leaving to go on vacation on Sunday, which I never take vacation. I never used to take vacations.
Sure.
It's just I had to rewire my brain. The beautiful thing about our brain is, yes, we have these neural pathways that have been formed since we were young, but we can also our brain is very plastic, and we can through neuroplasticity, we can change those neural pathways or create new ones
Yeah.
by changing our beliefs. And so for me, I had to change my belief about what success meant. And for
Sure.
me, success means having joy in my life every day. When I get up and I look at it, doing a podcast interview or doing a recording on a podcast or working on a book or whatever it is, if it brings me joy, then I'm successful. Doesn't matter if I don't make any money doing it.
Mm.
If I'm having fun, then that's success.
Yeah. I love that. Okay. So we have someone that may be saying, oh, Pamela, I work this high job. I'm getting paid six figures. I'm burnt out, but who cares?
Yeah.
And then finally, they make that step forward and saying, okay, I need to step back. Maybe for health reasons, maybe they want to spend more time with their family, whatever the case is. Then they journal, they write down A, B, C, and D, whatever it is.
Yeah.
How can those individuals that want to make that change follow step A, B, C, and D and make sure they do follow that path?
Mhm. Well, I guess it starts with figuring out what is the vision that you have for your life. So you want to start with that first. And then you want to start going backwards with that vision. So say 10 years from now I want to be here. And then you just need to start going backwards and say what is just one change I can make today? Because what we tend to do is we want to jump to the 10-year with without
Right.
taking small steps. It's
Yeah,
small incremental changes over time create big results. I think
absolutely.
that's from the slight edge. And so if we can just pick one thing that we're going to do differently and do that until it becomes a habit. We want habits are things that we do without even thinking about it. It's just something that happens.
Sure.
And then we can start layering habit stacking from what is that? I can't remember it off the top of my head. James
Sure.
Clear. Do you know the
No,
book? Oh,
no.
okay. Anyway,
Yeah,
it's all about habits, and so
sure.
what we have to do is figure out what are the habits that I need to start doing now to
Mhm.
get to where I want to be. So if it's right now, I want to start getting physically healthier. Okay, what's the thing I want to do? I want to join a gym. Most people join a gym and then they never go. So you
Yes.
want to join a gym, and then you want to set out your workout clothes and say that you're going to get dressed and go for 10 minutes and just go for 10 minutes and then come home. And then the next day, maybe it's 12 minutes. And we want to start incrementally increasing what we're doing till the point is that we get it's so ingrained in us that we're doing the things that are going to lead us to that ultimate goal.
Yeah.
What we don't want to do is try to take leaps because it's not sustainable.
Sure.
Because what we'll do is we'll set ourselves up for fail. It would be like me saying that I'm going to run a marathon next week and I've never run before.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
it's got to be, you know what? I'm going to start running a mile a day. And that's it. And then we do that and say, okay, now I'm going to try to sign up for a half marathon in 6 months
Yeah.
and do that. So it's just got to be those incremental changes. And
Sure.
I am a huge fan. I have a coach, and a coach is not someone that's going to tell you what to do. A coach is somebody that kind of takes the blinders off and helps you see things that you don't see and
Sure.
see the patterns that keep showing up in your life. And that was one of the hardest things that for me to hear from my coach when he said, "Is this a pattern that you see happening multiple times? And has this happened before?" And then when I thought about it, I'm like, well, shoot, yeah, this has happened
Yeah.
multiple times.
Right.
And he goes, okay, so now we need to figure out what's the pattern interrupt so that you don't
Mhm.
keep making the same mistakes. If I had quit that job, I would have just, if I had done nothing, I would have just gone back to doing the same thing and
Yeah.
just doing a different job. It would
Same
have
thing.
been
Yeah.
no different. And so
Mhm.
there had to be a massive interruption in my pattern. The problem is I don't want people to wait until they get a cancer diagnosis or have a heart attack before they have
Yeah.
that pattern interrupt. So they really need to figure out what is more important to them or what is the most important thing for them.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
and then that has to be the driver.
Yeah. So, okay, you had the job.
Yep.
You said enough is enough and you walked away.
Mhm.
What happened next?
Panic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I gave a 30-day notice
Mhm.
because I had all of these projects I wanted to finish up for them. I didn't want to just
Sure.
leave them hanging. So I gave them a 30-day notice. And in that 30 days, I started making phone calls because in my position in that as a vice president, I was coaching all the managers and I was coaching a lot of the top producing salespeople. And so I was like, okay, I can do this coaching thing. So I
Sure.
got a certification and then I started reaching out to people and I got enough coaching clients that I was going to be able to partially replace my income.
Sure.
And I had been out of real estate for 5 years because I couldn't sell in my leadership position. And so then I started calling all of my clients
Mhm.
and letting them know that I was going to be back in the selling. And then I was doing teaching for our local association because I was the president of our local association. And so I started reaching out to figure out how do I become one of the instructors. And
Yeah.
so I just, over that 30-day period, I had replaced most of my income. And actually, I ended up doubling my income by walking away from that position
Amazing. Sure.
because I work a heck of a lot less hours, which is
Mm.
beautiful thing, and I'm in
Sure.
control of my schedule as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yes,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
I was
That's great.
very strategic of what
Yeah.
do I love to do? What do I know how to do? And now how do I make it happen? And it was
Yeah.
reaching out and saying, "Hey, this is what I need. Can you help? This is what I need to do. Can you help me?"
Yeah.
And people stepped up.
And that's great. You know, I always think it's who you are as a person.
Mm,
If you treat someone well, 2 years, 3 years from now, you may reunite with that person.
yeah,
And just like you say, you made a phone call. The receiving end, the person saying, "Oh, Pamela, absolutely. Let me get your contact information." And there you go.
yeah.
A client or someone if you're selling something or, apartment, house, whatever it is, that's a potential client for a sell. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's hard for people to do because, here you are, VP, and you're thinking your
Mhm.
worth is tied to your title, your
Right.
income, all of this, and now I'm calling and asking for help. And so that can be hard for people. Like they don't
Sure.
want to. There's a shame tied to it. I had no shame. I was like, I'm not going to die of a heart attack for a
Yeah.
job. And so, and it was something I was passionate about doing. So it was just like, yeah, ask for help. And if, like you said, you build those relationships, those connections over the years, and you're helping other people, people will absolutely step up and help you if you
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah. In any corporate job, small business,
Yeah.
whatever it is, if something horrible happens to an individual, heart attack or cancer,
Yeah.
believe me, in a week, they're going to have a replacement.
Yeah.
They're going to start going through a recruiter, getting the ideal candidates for your replacement because it's business.
Yeah.
They need to move forward.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. Yes.
Hmm.
All right. So you step forward,
Yeah.
you change your life for the better. Talk to us about your book, The Quiet Gift.
Yes. That was a fun labor of love. So the Quiet Gift is my childhood story.
Sure.
So it starts from the diagnosis of dyslexia through college. And it's all about this idea of what I mentioned feeling invisible through the years. And so I wrote it as a fable. So there's a mythical character in there. And I did a lot of journaling and I still do a lot of journaling. And this was a lot of my journal writings just switch into a book. And we actually just launched our second book, came out last week, Meaningful Success. And
Okay.
that's my business partner who I do the podcast with. That's her story. She was adopted. And so it's a fable. It's written as a fable as well. And so it's fun. And I have a book retreat coming up in July. And so I'll be writing my next book, which is going to be my marriage and the cancer and my burnout and stuff. So that's going to be a harder one for me to write. This one was, my childhood, so it was a little
Sure.
easier. So this next one's going to be a little bit more challenging, but writing it was such an interesting journey because growing up, nobody knew what my story was. None of my friends that I went to
Sure.
school with. And it was an interesting thing because we published it and I was promoting it on social media,
Mhm.
I get a message on Facebook from a girl I went to high school with. And
Sure.
she was like the popular girl in the school. Everybody liked her because she was nice to everybody. She played soccer with me. She was a singer. She was in the drama club, like everything.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Hey, I saw your book and I would love to talk to you about it becoming an Audible book." And I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, okay." And I was like, "All right." So we set up a call
Sure.
and I was like, "Well, I was wanting to do it as an Audible because I have dyslexia and reading books is hard for people with dyslexia. It takes them a while.
Sure.
And I wanted to read it myself." And so she's like, "Well, I do it. So let me walk you through and I'll kind of train you how to do it yourself." Well, she started telling me all of the intricacies and everything that was involved in doing
Yeah.
audiobooks. And I was like, "No, I'm good." And so,
Yeah.
so she did it for me. And so it is an
Okay.
Audible book now, but it was listening when she would send me the little clips, listening to somebody that I looked up at in high school to read the book. So hearing her voice, a familiar voice, read the book was such a cool thing, but also an incredibly vulnerable thing because this was somebody that had no idea what I went through in school and how I felt. And so it was incredibly vulnerable, but really empowering. And I've given this as gifts to some of my coaching clients, and the response from them has been everyone has their own story that was like, "Oh my gosh, that's how I felt. I
Yeah.
felt invisible because of blank." And so it was really a cool connector to connect with people with similar feelings that
Sure.
were actually pretty common, that
Yeah.
nobody has any idea what anyone else is going through.
It's true.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
A lot of people hold it in.
Yep.
We said this, before. It's people hold a lot in, and I've been learning that when I do have interviews, different stories, and it's great to speak up.
Yeah.
Pamela, how did it feel when you finalized the book and said it's done?
It felt empowering.
Right.
Wow, I did something,
Sure.
and no matter what, this book will be out there um, and telling my story. And so that was really cool, and I think everyone has a story, and everyone should write a book. because there's somebody that needs to hear what you have to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it has been, I didn't realize how much I would love doing it
Yeah.
and how incredible it felt to have it done and out there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Let's talk about your podcast, huh?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Tell us the definition, reunite resilience. What it's about. What do you talk about?
Yeah. So that was also a labor of love. So
If
I was at a conference and I ran
yeah.
into a friend I hadn't seen in years. And she told me this story about losing her father and having to take over his business and all of this. And through that, she was kind of talking about this amazing like support system that
Sure.
she has. And I called my business partner and I said, "Hey, what do you think about doing a podcast?" And she
Mhm.
goes, "It happens to be on my bucket list. So yeah,
Right.
what are you thinking?" And I was like, "Well, I'm thinking about doing something for people that are going through adversity that don't have a community so
Sure.
that they can come and feel like they're part of this community." And originally it was just going to be the two of us. And we came up with all of our topics of what we were
Mhm.
going to, we had no idea what the heck we were doing.
Oh,
We had
right.
no idea how to do a podcast or anything. I'm usually the idea person. My business partner is the executor. So it's
Sure.
like,
Sure.
it's
Yeah.
perfect. So she figured out how to do it. And we always do a week in Mexico as a think week. We got that from Bill Gates. We do a think week every year where we content create and do all of this. And so we were down in Mexico and we recorded our very first episode down there and launched it. And it'll be 4 years now, which I can't
Wow.
believe it's been 4 years. And then we were like, how are we going to keep talking about just random stuff? So we're like, maybe we should invite people. And so we started reaching out to our network, and
Yes.
then our network started connecting us with other people. And so we're like, okay. And so all of a sudden we started having these people reach out to us. And now that's all we do are interviews. And we're listened to on every continent. And we've probably had a guest from every continent. And stories that I always think I've heard everything. And then these people get on and I'm like, wow. I
Yeah.
think we get off the call and we are always like, wow, I can't
Yeah.
believe this person. And what it has taught me over the last 4 years is that, one, everybody has a story. And every one of these people has gone through unimaginable things, from losing children to losing
Yeah.
body parts to losing significant others to having loved ones commit suicide. I mean, you name it,
Yeah.
they've gone through. And every single one of them has had purpose come from it and done something with it. Whether it's helping other people, creating these charitable organizations, coaching people, writing books, you name it.
Yeah.
Not a single person has ever come on as a victim.
Yeah.
They've always been, they're like, okay, let me find the purpose in this. Let me find the gratitude in this and do something with it. And so it is such a passion project for us. We love it. And because of it, the books came out of it. They were birthed from it. We're like, we should do books. and,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Great.
yeah, and so we do books. We also do, live events, like we're doing a live event next Saturday and Sunday, 2 days, and we've got, a few of our guests are gonna be speakers, on it, and yeah, we wanna reach as many people as we possibly can and impact as many people as we possibly can,
Yeah.
and you know it, it's such a rewarding thing to meet
Mhm.
people all over the world.
Yeah.
Think
It is.
yeah,
It really is. It's fascinating. Like you said, I could totally relate hearing different stories. The people I have talked to, I'm pretty much newer,
yeah.
not 4 years, not even a year, Pamela, but I've learned so much from episode one to today,
Oh, yeah.
and the different stories, life stories, and everyone is honest and real.
Yeah,
And we have real conversations like you and I are having right now.
yeah,
And it's fascinating. And I have learned so much.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah,
absolutely.
fun.
What is your inspiration today?
Oh my gosh, what is my inspiration today? Oh, leaving the world a better place,
Yeah.
just one person at a time. And it's funny every day when I leave the house, I'm like, who can I make smile today? And in a world that has become so disconnected after COVID,
Yeah.
the reaction I get from people out and about when you make eye contact and you say something to them and you have a conversation and you take interest in another person is so fun. And I'm an introvert, and I was this girl that wanted to be invisible. And it is my mission to, like, for example, I travel a lot for speaking, and
Sure.
I would get Uber drivers. And I was like, I'm not talking. I would sit in the back with my phone and get to
Sure.
the
Sure.
destination. And now it's like I don't allow myself to do that. It's the first question. I was like, so tell me about you. How long
Yeah.
have you been driving? What inspires you? And the conversations and the people that I've met, the Uber drivers over the years, has been so cool. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, everybody's got a story. And so if we can get excited about another human and what story they have to share, not me spewing what I do, it's all about asking questions and getting curious. That's the coach in me.
Yeah.
Um, so like leaving the world a better place. If I can put a smile on one person's face every day, then I've won the day.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that makes me happy.
There you go. Just like we said, we touched one person, we did our job.
Yep.
You said something interesting because going back, let's say 15, 20 years ago, I was constantly on my cell phone, not worrying my surroundings or anything like that. I'm in the subway in New York City, commuting to work, somebody did not matter. And as I matured and got a little older, I wanted me time. So now, even to this day, I practice this a lot. If I'm in line somewhere or in a mall or wherever it is, I have my cell phone in my back pocket and the person next to me, hey, how are you doing? How's your day? Either A, they're going to acknowledge the conversation and say hello back, or B, think I'm a total weirdo,
Yeah.
right?
It
But it's
happens.
okay.
It happens.
I move on from it.
Yeah.
But I have learned a lot, just
Yeah.
a total stranger,
Yeah.
a 2 minute hello, maybe good conversation. And I've learned as well, Pamela, is I've had sometimes said hello to a person at a mall or I'm at a Starbucks, and we ended up having a 15-minute conversation because that person was either A, having a fantastic day and I want to speak to someone about that day,
Mhm.
or B, they were just feeling down and they just needed someone to talk to.
Yeah.
And here comes I to say, hey, how are you?
Yeah.
And ended up a 15, 20 minute conversation.
Yeah.
So I like that you do that. That's awesome.
It's pretty fun, and you don't know you don't know if the
Mhm.
person that works from home, they're sitting on a computer all day and they never have interactions, or
Sure.
they
Yeah.
don't have anybody at home, or we just don't know. And so how
Yeah.
fun is it to meet someone new? I did that with somebody once. That was kind of when I was first starting it, and had this conversation, found out that she knew my daughter's fiance.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Sure.
what
Sure.
are the chances of that? And so
Right. Right.
it's just so fun because you never know who you're gonna meet, and it's
Yeah.
yeah, so it makes me happy just talking about it, so,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So, Pamela, I usually like to ask my guest one final question.
'Kay.
What final thoughts or message would you like to share with the world?
Mm, gratitude is powerful,
Yeah.
and so if you are not every day waking up, even before you even put your feet on the ground for the day,
Sure.
if you're not waking up just being grateful for everything, being able to get up, the breath that you just took, or the being able to hear the sounds, your alarm going off, any of those things. If you're not, start doing that. Start practicing gratitude every single day. It will absolutely change your entire life. 21 days of gratitude will reprogram your brain to find the good in challenges before it goes to the negative. And so if you can do that, it will change your life.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, Pamela, you are an incredible human being.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story with us today. I appreciate talking to you. I'm looking forward to our next time we connect. And thank you for coming on the Influence Exchange today.
Thank you so
Take care.
much.
You're welcome. Bye bye.
Bye.
Before I go, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for pressing play. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching on YouTube. I truly appreciate you taking the time to be here with me. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other platform, follow the podcast so you don't miss out on the next episode. Because we're going to keep having real, honest conversations like this. And remember, your influence grows every time you choose courage over comfort. I'm JV. Stay curious, stay consistent, and keep influencing others. If you enjoyed this episode, I had a great conversation with Regina Huber, an international leadership coach, speaker, author, and entrepreneur. I encourage you to go back and listen to episode 46 of the Influence Exchange, where Regina shares valuable insights on leadership, personal growth, resilience, and creating success on your own terms. Thank you for listening and watching, and I'll see you on the next episode.